So this is called death threats. Okay, so wow, things sure are escalating on Jitsi. Um, oh, here it is. Yeah, things are escalating pretty badly on Jitsi. I'm getting death threats now, and I just want to show them, to document them. God forbid, in case anything happens. Not that I'm really intimidated. So, let's just cut to the chase. I'll show you them and then I'll explain what's going on. So, here we see Jitsi Room Grand Slammers. This is a place, one of the rooms where I've been under attack from extreme bullying. And okay, how far back does this chat go? So, I was on here just not really doing much of anything, just kind of dancing around and, being peaceful. And then I started getting abusive comments. And those don't show up here at this moment. But I started sharing my screen after I was getting these abusive comments. So I'm like, FYI, abusive comments have started up again via private message. Somebody said, "You are always the source, aren't you?" I'm not the source of it, but I am certainly the target. I'm just letting you know the reason I share my screen at the moment. So the moderator is going by the name of 50-year-old loser, and that's a reference to me, although I'm not 50. In other words, finally someone has given you any attention. Lol. I don't know what that means. But they started kicking me out of the room, and I'd come back in, and then they'd kick me out, and then I'd come back in, and they'd kick me out, and I'd come back in, doing this dance. So I was playing this, I was sharing the screen for my video for Good Times. So that's why when I came back in, I had my username set to Good Times. And I said, Do you really want to start this dance with me again? You always lose. I closed off 5 rooms this morning and it started exactly like this. And the person said, I will have your website shut down. Play with me. Okay, I put the link to, what was that? I guess that's the link to my live stream at the moment. I didn't see these messages. I was going in and kicking people out with the goal of shutting down the room. So I saw these after the fact. It says, will be no more, play with fire, you die. You are so ugly, and I'm so happy that you are, I don't know what they said. I sent that by accident, and then after the room was shut down, somehow this person was able to send a message to it. 50-year-old loser says, Tommy is under attack. Hope you backed up all your stupid, pathetic waste of time videos. So, wow. And then, I mean, this part, play with fire, you die. That's a death threat right there. And these come from this person using the name 50-year-old loser. Okay, if it has the same username at the top, that means the subsequent messages are from them too. Oh, actually, this link was from them. They posted the link to my channel. How weird is that? Okay, my Rumble channel. Anyways, this has been going on really since December. So these are rooms where guys go on with their webcams to jerk off. And like, I've been under attack on the internet at least since 2018. I know that because of, I mean, I can't get into the background of it. I do know that. And it started with me getting involved politically on Twitter in 2018. Okay? And and when I wrote Make Vancouver Canadian Again meme in 2018. That's what triggered, got me on some kind of a hit list on the internet. I mean, so you could imagine these are left-wing operatives who are seriously opposed to Trump, and most Trump supporters don't seem to get this kind of negative attention like I do, but, you know, I'm not like most people. I'm pretty damn effective communicator, and so I suppose what I was saying really threatened people at that time. And so, I mean, I'm none of the things that they accuse me of, just the opposite. But, okay, so, but I mean, I didn't really have a problem on Jitsi. Like, that's just kind of a background thing. For the most part, I didn't really have a problem on Jitsi until this past December, when I ran into, inadvertently clicked on something that turned out to be child pornography. And I reported that. And I called out the people, like, I would kick off the people out of the rooms who were sharing it and, you know, call them out and say, you know, that's not the right thing to do. You shouldn't be doing that. Like, what are you doing? Sharing child pornography. And I've continued to do that. I've probably done that just in the past week. I mean, it shocks me that child pornography is so prolific on this website. Like, there is a problem here. And I think that the developers of Jitsi can't just wash their hands of it. Like, they're making a technology that is being used to share child pornography. And the people there, when confronted about it, really feel entitled to be able to continue to do that. And so the fact that I've challenged them has resulted in me coming under fire with extreme bullying. So, and just to be clear, most of the people who go onto these Jitsi sites are not there for child pornography. Most of them are not there for that. But they seem to be falling sway to a smear campaign against me. And so they do tend to side against me. So usually what happens is I'll go on wanting to participate just like anybody else, and I will get private messages coming through putting me down in every which way. My appearance, usually focused on my appearance. They tell me that I look older than my age, that I'm a loser, that my room is filthy. Like, they just put me down any which way they can. And at a certain point, I went on to one of these rooms, and my full name and location and the name of my ex-husband were being used as other people's usernames. Okay, so that's pretty disturbing, but whatever. And so this has just been going on like basically every day since December. And for the most part, I try to ignore it because it's best not to give a reaction. That's probably what they're looking for. But at a certain point, I do start fighting back. And I would say lately, this fighting back stage comes a lot sooner for me than before because I'm running out of patience with this. And, so I was on there. Like last night, I was being put down for my skin color, that my legs were too white. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be with you guys in this way. And I turned off my webcam and started to you can share your screen, which typically you would be sharing your screen for porn, not child porn. I mean, some people do, and that's where I've had an issue with them, but for the most part they don't. It's just regular gay porn. And anytime I've shared that, it's come under attack. Well, not anytime, but most of the times. Like, they'll say, oh, we don't want to see it, it's distracting, the sound, blah, 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 blah. Just endless complaints. But other people share porn and they like it. It's just me. They're just bullying me. And and these bullies, by the way, almost none of them ever have their webcams turned on. So you don't see who it is. Whereas I would almost always have my webcam turned on because I know I'm not doing anything wrong. I have nothing to hide. And so what happened today? Today I was on there and people were enjoying my presence and we were having a good time until one of these bullies came on with their webcam off and started kicking me out of a room. That was this morning. And so I turned off my webcam. Like, I'm not going to perform for haters. And I sent a message saying to the group what's going on. I can't have my webcam on. People are kicking me out, so I'm not going to be here. And then I ended up sharing my screen with my Melania Trump fashion icon videos while I was in the bathtub. And then I came out of the bathtub and I was surprisingly that they was still all going and they didn't kick me off that time. Interesting. And so then I started getting ready to go out for the day. And I wasn't playing Melania Trump. I was playing other videos too, but still sharing them. And, they could just ignore it. And they don't have to hear the sound. They can mute the sound of the videos. But these are extreme control freaks. And so I was just about ready to leave. So, turn off my computer and it all would have stopped. And somebody started sending me abusive messages and kicking me out of a room. So at that point, I escalated my tactics since they were escalating against me. And it wasn't good enough to just share my screen anymore. I was going in and kicking people out of the rooms and putting them. You can set a lobby so that anybody who wants to join the room has to be admitted. And so if you don't admit them, they can't come in. So it essentially privatizes the room. And so I kicked out everyone and set the lobby. And I did this to several of the rooms. We can see that actually right now. I've got them up because I'm keeping them like that. So this is Brotherhood of Penis. Oh, you want to see that, right? Brotherhood of Penis is behind a lobby wall, and I'm not letting people in right now. There's two people, Leo and Mark, who want in. That's me, Mel, short for Melanie in this Melania in this case. Another room called Heavy Huffers I've got behind a wall, and here we've got Leo and Daddy Vids wanting in. So let's reject them right now. That'll be fun. You can send them a chat too. And this is what routinely would happen to me, right? So I would be getting kicked out of a room, and then if I tried to come in, they'll send me a chat that says, oh, you're too fat. We're not going to let you in because you're too fat. Or we're not going to let you in because you're too old. There any chance to put down my appearance, they'll go for it. This one, naked masturbators, is shut behind a wall. Nobody's trying to get in that one at the moment. This one called porn and penis, and somebody called Brazilian bottom X wants in, so we're going to reject that person. And another one, smoke and stroke, as well. So I shut down all those ones this morning, and then I went out and did my thing, and then I came back, and then I was back on just chatting with them, letting them know, like, okay, well, maybe you should play nice. Maybe we should, like, call a truce kind of thing. Maybe it's not, you're not going to win. I've already shut down so many rooms today. And, I was playing my videos. And I was playing my videos for myself to watch, but I wasn't sharing the screen. I would only do that if I'm being harassed, so I wasn't actually being harassed, so I had no reason to share my screen. So I wasn't. I was just playing my videos for me to watch at home, but I wasn't sharing it with them. And what happened? For about an hour or so, if not longer, there was no issue because nobody was harassing me. Everything was fine. And then somebody comes in and starts giving me harassing messages and kicking me out of the rooms. And so that's when this exchange. The harassing messages must have been through another one of the rooms, and that's when I started. That's when I said this abusive comments have started up again via private message, just letting you know, like these gang stalkers are here, and just letting you know. So then I started sharing my screen, right? So at that moment I started. Up until then I wasn't, and then they kept doing it, and so I'm like, do you really want to start this dance with me again? You always lose. I closed off 5 rooms this morning, and it started exactly like this, and I proceeded to do it. These guys are jerking off, so they only have one hand to they're keyboard warrior. They're one-handed keyboard warriors because literally their other hand is jerking off. So they're at a disadvantage when it comes to, you have to be quick on the draw when you're going in and start kicking people out. And they're going to kick me out, right? They're going to notice that people are getting kicked out. They're going to kick me out, the one who's doing it. But they're not fast enough because they're one-handed. And so I shut down their room. Another one. And I warned them. And it didn't need to come to this. I'm not wanting to do that. That's not why I'm going there, is to shut down these rooms. That's not why. I'm going there to interact. I'm lonely. I'm living in a northern town in Canada where there's basically no gay community, and I'm looking for a community online, right? And to make up for my isolation. That's what the internet was supposed to be about, especially for gay people when it first started. But I'm already being gang stalked since 2018 because of political stuff, and B, it really escalated in December when I started reporting child pornography. And now the only alternative would be for me to say, just to take it lying down, just to accept defeat. Okay, I guess I'm not going to be able to go onto these websites then and participate like another person would, because I'm going to get kicked out. And to me, that's unacceptable. I think I should be able to participate like anybody else. And so, I started sharing my screen, which annoys the hell out of them, which they could just ignore, but it drives them crazy. And then they start kicking me out, and then I kick them out back and put the room behind a lobby wall, right? And so that's where we're at. That's where we're at. And the thing is, I tend to get the blame because I don't turn off my webcam. I have my webcam turned on. I'm very transparent about everything I'm doing. And people who are just neutral and who don't know what's going on, they just see me with my webcam on and they see me sharing my screen and they think that it's starting from me. They're not realizing that I'm getting abusive messages and getting kicked out of the rooms beforehand, and that I'm only starting to share my screen after that. They also don't like that I share the link to my live streams, which I would do that anyways, whether I was being harassed or not. Well, too bad. Like, you can't control that. Like, I'm allowed to post the link. People post links to all sorts of their live streams. Just because my live stream doesn't contain pornographic material doesn't mean that it's spam, because every time I post a link to a live stream in one of these chats, it gets viewers. So apparently somebody's clicking on it. Some percentage of the people who are in these rooms are interested in my live streams because they click on it and watch. Nobody's forcing them to. So if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to click on it. Just ignore it. But these are extreme control freaks. I set up my own Jitsi room at one point, because you can do that, and because I think it's not right that there's people on there who have their webcams off. And these are always the bullies who are doing this to me, have their webcams off. So I would think that it should be a rule that the webcams are on. You know, what's the point of being there otherwise? And so I created my own room, and I posted that was the rule. And anybody who was in there with their webcam off, I was kicking them out. And within short order, within an hour or two, these bullies managed to take the room over from me by flooding my servers and making it so that I could not connect to the internet anymore, and I lost connection, and so they were able to take back a room that I had created. Okay, and so... And actually that happened like 2 or 3 times, because then I'd do another one and then they'd do the same thing again. So, you know, they've said to me, why don't you create your own room with your own rules? I've tried that. These bullies are like, they don't want that. They just don't want me to have anything. And they want to be able to control what goes on even when they're not there, too. So, and they're really adamant about having it so that people can be on there with their webcams off, which just gives cover to the bullies. So I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. And if they want to have this all stop, then they need to, the people who are causing the problem need to be the ones who are targeted, who are dealt with, not me. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm just defending myself. So the ones who are coming on there with their webcams turned off and sending bullying messages and kicking me out, those are the bad actors, and those are the ones who need to be dealt with. It's not acceptable to say that I would not be allowed to be part of it. So that's the way to resolve it. Deal with the actual bullies. Deal with the actual stalkers. The ones who are going on, sending private abusive messages, kicking people off, and using my personal information as well as a part of it too. So I haven't done anything wrong, and so I'm going to continue to defend my position, and I'm not going to allow myself to be intimidated. And these rooms are going to continue to be disrupted as long as these bullies are allowed to bully me. So that I hope that there can be a solution. And that these bullies can be stopped. That's really all I have to say. So, all right, that's all I have to say for now. Peace out. Peace out to the world in general, but not to the bullies.